Wednesday, page 35. The daily synopsis of today's fourth aliyah will be: some wishing to draw close to God by praising Him can elect to bring a peace offering, so called because it promotes peace in the world. And if his offering is a peace sacrifice, if he brings it from cattle, whether male or female, he shall bring a perfect animal as his offering before Hashem. Shlomim. Shmatilim shalom ba'olam. They are so called because they bring peace into the world. We're going to see the peace offerings, or they bring peace. Why? Because God responds to this particular carbon offering with a lot of blessing to the world. That's one interpretation of why it's called the peace offering.
Wow.
Davar acher, another interpretation of the term, shlomim means sheyesh be'am shalom b'mizbeach v'lakoyanim v'lamaylim. Everybody's happy. There's peace because everybody's happy. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. The kohen gets part of this animal, the owner gets part of it, and the altar gets part of it. Base. He shall rest his hand at the head of his offering, and slaughter it at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And the priests shall splash the blood against the altar all around. He shall rest his hand at the head of his offering and slaughter at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Aaron's sons, the priests, shall then splash the blood around the altar. Okay. So it's cattle, male or female, puts his hand on it, slaughters it, and they dash the blood. Gimel. He should then bring from this peace offering animal, Ishul Hashem, a part that goes in the fire for God. What is that? This is the fat that covers the intestine. And all the fat that's on the innards. Rashi, we don't know exactly what it is. He brings the fat. Kol, all the fat means includes even the fat upon the stomach. This is the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Akiva says this includes just the fat upon the intestines. I don't know the anatomy here, but whatever. Okay, Talmud. The two kidneys and the fat which is on them, which is above the flanks. And the and he shall remove the diaphragm besides part of the liver and the kidneys. The diaphragm on the kidneys, besides the liver and part of the kidneys, he shall remove. Okay. Rashi, the ksalim is the flanks in Old French. This expresses itself as the fat upon the kidneys. When the animal is live, is at the upper ends of the flanks, and below this is the fat under the loins, which is called loin bells in Old French. And is the white fat that is visible in the upper part of the flanks, but the lower part of the flanks, the flesh of the flanks, cover that fat. Okay. Hayeseris is the protective wall, the diaphragm, which is called ibris in Aramaic, chatzer de kavda. Ala kaved, on the liver. This means that he should take a small part of the liver with it. Elsewhere it says he takes the diaphragm with part of the liver. Ala kaved ala klayes, it means besides the liver and besides the kidneys. He has to remove also the diaphragm. So diaphragm, kidneys, liver, fat, all goes. It all goes on the fire. Ala kaved, says Rashi. This means he takes a little bit of this liver with it. Ala kaved, as I said it. Okay. Hey, verse 5. Aaron's son shall burn up on the altar, besides the daily burnt offering that's already on the wood, which is on the fire. It is a pleasing fire to Hashem. Hey, Allah Elam. This is besides the burnt offering. This tells us that the daily burnt offering precedes all other sacrifice on the altar. The daily morning burnt offering precedes all. Okay, so this shlamim, a voluntary peace offering, is after the daily olah, as that comes first. That's the first thing of the day. Vav,
and the last, right?
And then there's an afternoon olah. Yeah, that's that. And if from flocks you bring your carbon, your offering as a peace offering to God, well, zachar and a kevatam, then you got to bring a male or female, either one, unblemished. That's the one you offer. Zayin kesev humak. If he brings a sheep as his offering, if he can raise something Hashem, then he shall bring before Hashem. If he brings a sheep as his offering, then he shall bring before Hashem. Zayin im kesev. Since there's something among the offered parts of the sheep that's not among the offered parts of the goat. There's something among the offered parts of the sheep that's not among the offered parts of the goat. For the case of the sheep, its tail is offered. They're divided into two separate sections. There's something among the offered parts of the sheep that's not among the offered parts of the goat. For in the case of the sheep, its tails are offered. They are thus divided into two separate sections. Okay. So the tail is the reason you have to repeat about the sheep, because that's not by the other ones. If he brings a sheep, he brings it to God for God. Ches samachas yadai he puts his hand on top of the animal. He slaughters it before the tent of meeting in the courtyard. And the sons of Aaron, the Kohanim, they splash the blood around the altar. The Zarko, what does it mean? They splash means 2-ish or 4. You take a vessel of blood, and then you dash it on the corners, kitty corners, and that makes them all 4 sides get a little bit of blood. But in the case of the sin offering, you apply with your finger. Tess, you then offer from this peace offering lamb as a fire to God, part of it. Chelboy, it's fat. Ha'alya tamima, the fat. Chelboy means the choicest part is the tail. Lumas atzi yisrena, where it joins the kidneys. As well as the fat on top of the intestines. It's called and all the fat on the top of the innards. Chelboy means its choicest part, which is the entire tail. I guess that was a delicacy.
Do we eat that nowadays?
I don't think so. I don't know. Lumas atza means above the kidneys that give counsel. So in the Talmud in general talks about the kaliyos yotze, so the kidneys. So like there's the brain, the heart, and the kidneys. The kidneys are it says they give advice.
Yeah, we talked about that before. I remember that, and
it's just hard to understand because what's a kidney versus, I don't know, a spleen. I mean, whatever,
Kidney is cleaning the blood, which is going through the head, and the shuma is right in the nefesh is right in the blood.
Maybe that's it. So
the source of your thinking.
But the way it's used in the language of the Talmud, to try to understand it, is that the kidneys give counsel. They give advice. They give counsel. They're like, it's like almost like they're like another form of a yetzer of some sort. So there's different ways to understand. They quote here a Rabbi Dessler who says that he gives a very, what we call a balabatish answer, like a simple answer, is that the kidneys represent innards. So it's when you're like, something is pushing you from your innards to do something.
It's more profound than that. It's cleaning the blood. That's what it's doing. It's taking the voice out of the blood and it's refining what's going through your head.
So I guess, why is it called counselors? If they're just, so I'm saying, well, how does that, I'm not arguing, but how explaining, if it cleans the blood, how is that called? Why is it called in the language of the Talmud, counselors? The kidneys are counselors for the person. They're your consigliere.
There's got to be some sense in which the kidneys are sending signals to your
Right.
brain.
Right.
So, and I think
so could it be Alan saying it, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. But
you're refining the blood. The blood is what which is a fundamental aspect of your existence.
Modern jargon where there's an expression.
The body
today,
speaks.
I feel it in my kidneys.
Right.
I don't know what that means, but apparently,
well, not today. With I don't know.
Some people feel it in their kishkas.
Yeah. Same idea.
So modern medicine talks about the body keeps the score. The body is very intelligent, not just the brain. So maybe there's a certain aspect. The kidneys are just very. There's a certain wisdom that we don't look at as brain wisdom, but it's still wisdom. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Yud and the two kidneys and the fat on them, on the flanks, the diaphragm besides the liver and the kidneys you shall move. Yud Aleph. The priest, thank you. The priest shall burn up on the altar. Lechem mishel Hashem. It is fuel for the fire for the sake of Hashem. Lechem means food for the fire for the sake of God. So what goes in the fire is considered God's food, so to speak. I'm sorry, no. It's fuel for the fire, not fuel for the fire. Right.
So
because food would really be, we talk about,
the fat.
No, food is for a person, for animals, for a living being.
Right.
We call the same. Why don't we call gas food for the car? We call it fuel for the car.
Right.
I'm just theorizing here. So it says, but in Hebrew, the food can mean fuel, can mean food. It's
so what's the car in this metaphor?
The altar's fire of the altar, the carburetor, or whatever, the engine.
It's, okay. Big part.
Lechem is an expression of food. It says here clearly. Rashi says lechem. Okay, Yud Gimel. I'm sorry, Yud Beis. Now we said tzoin. I want to point out in Hebrew, tzoin is flocks. Flocks means sheep and goats. So we said if you're bringing from flocks, well, category 1 would be sheep. Here's the laws of that. Now we're in category 2, it'd be goats. If you do a goat from it, here's what you do. Yud Gimel. You rest your hand in it, you slaughter it for the court, before the time meeting. And the children of Aaron, they dash the blood around, as we said earlier. And then it continues, you offer it from this goat as a fire offering to God. What goes in the fire? Not all of it, just the the same thing, the fat on top of the innards, and including the whole fat on top of the innards. The two kidneys, and the fat on the kidneys, it's on the fat that's on them, that's above the flanks, and the diaphragm on the liver, besides the liver, besides the kidneys, you have to remove as well. The kain burns it on the fire and the altar. It's a lechem isheh. It's a fuel for the fire, or food for the fire, fuel for the fire. The reich nichayach that causes a pleasing aroma. Kol chaylev Hashem. All fat is to be for Hashem. Yitzayin. This is a chuk. This is a everlasting decree. Throughout all your dwellings, all your here it translates your generations. But no fat or blood may you eat. Rashi, it's an everlasting statute. This entire verse is well expounded in Teres Koyanim. Doesn't tell you what it is. He's essentially saying that one of the reasons for the prohibition of eating fats of the animal, even kosher animals, certain fats here are forbidden. Like filet mignon is like a forbidden part of the animal, I think,
Mhm.
the cut.
Mm-hmm.
So because certain fats are not allowed. And blood of an animal you can't eat either. So there's a correlation because that is for the altar.
Mhm.
Understand? That's for God. So even when it's not in the context of a carbon,
Fat
because
in the blood, yeah.
even when there's a it's not in the context of a carbon, like we